You can lose yourself, invest yourself, consume yourself with the ways or the way of the sword. You can live by the sword. You can live by the way of the coin, the way of coin. You can live by the ways of the flesh. You could live by the ways of this earth. And you will never find peace and solace, true joy. You'll never find deep, true, DNA level healing, body, mind, and spirit. You never find everlasting love, everlasting life. And I'm talking about the love and the life that transcends. Again, don't get caught up like the wise ones, so-called wise ones, and the holy men and the magi and the yogi and the self-help gurus of this world who focus on the structure and the ways to maneuver around the slalom course that we call this life. Because if you do so, and you invest your heart, your mind, your soul, your strength in navigating this game and playing this game, then ultimately you'll be left wanting, longing, hungering, and thirsting. Because you'll find that it's never enough. You'll find that you claw, scratch, and cannibalize in a never-ending fashion. Even when you get the things you think you want, you find that they're not the things you need. Because nothing in this physical plane gives you everlasting peace, joy, healing, love, and life. This is not life. This is an illusion, okay? So, talk about buying into the game that is life. And how when the board on this game gets shaken up and all the pieces scatter and all the monopoly money gets mixed up and no one remembers, no one knows whose property is whose, where we, on what space on the board were you before the whole thing got shaken up. Imagine the wise ones of during the time, the so-called wise ones, the holy men, the false prophets during the time of Yahusha, Hamashiach, the Messiah, son of Yahuwah, the Most High, he who creates, he who breathes life, he who brings all into existence, manifested in the flesh as Yahusha, the Messiah, he who saves, he who delivers, the Most High who redeems, the meaning of the name. And the Pharisees, the hypocrites and the liars, constantly testing him, trying him, even though they know he's Hamashiach. They know, they've seen the miracles, they've heard his teachings. The people know, the people flock to him, the people love him, the people recognize, because the people are not filled with the contrivances and the power grab and the pedestal of the false prophets. The people, the salt of the earth people, know Hamashiach when they see him, such that they flock to him. But the lying scribes and Pharisees, they want to hold on to their grip of power. They're constantly looking to ensnare him, entrap him, trip him up, discredit him in front of the people. And so they constantly interrogate him, not to reveal him as Hamashiach, even though they know you'd think that they would want to know for certain that he is Hamashiach, because it is in the scriptures that he shall come and save them. But no, they're more concerned with their earthly power. And so they, in trying to trip him up, constantly interrogating him with trick questions, questions meant to ensnare and entrap and trip him up. And they say to him, they say, Yahusha, we know your teachings are true and that you only speak truth and that you speak of Elohim and that you instruct in the ways of Elohim. So we know that your guidance is true, right? You could just hear them dripping with sarcasm and guile as they attempt to lay their trap. And then they say to him, Caesar demands that we pay tribute to him. But is it right to give our hard-earned money as tribute to Caesar? They're trying to trip him up so that he speaks against the ruling authority and gets himself in trouble so that they can lay a charge on him. And he says to them, it's so obvious what they're trying to do. And he says, why do you try me with such things? They're doing this, by the way, in front of the people at the temple, where the people have all flocked around and gathered around to hear his teaching. So profound are his words. So astonished are the people. So amazed at the word he is delivering. And so these lying hypocrites try to ensnare him in front of the people to discredit him. But he's already onto it. He knows. He says, why do you try me? He says, okay, I'll answer your question. Bring me a coin. So they give him a coin, and he looks at the coin and he says, whose likeness? Whose image is embossed on this coin? And the Pharisees, the false prophets, the hypocrites, the liars, full of cunning and guile, thinking in their wildest dreams that they could trip up Hamashiach. They say to him, well, that's Caesar emblazoned on the coin that you hold in your hand. And Hamashiach, the Messiah, Yahusha, says to them, well then, and I'm paraphrasing here, well then it's Caesar's coin. He says, render unto Caesar what is Caesar's, and render unto Elohim what is Elohim's. Render unto Yahuwah, render unto the Most High what is the Most High's. And what he's saying here is that if you want to play the game, if you want to play Caesar's game, then you play by Caesar's rules. It's that simple. If you invest in the way of the coin, then you're going to pay the price. The problem for most people is that they make a fundamental error. They make a fatal mistake. And that is they invest their focus, the wrong focus, on the coin. They invest their heart. They invest their soul. They invest their spirit. They invest their mind and their strength in the way of the coin. And then they bemoan, complain, kvetch. They whine, they whinge endlessly when it doesn't bring them joy, when it doesn't bring them peace, when it doesn't bring them solace, when it doesn't heal their hearts. You're investing your heart, soul, mind, and strength in something that cannot give you what you ultimately seek because you only see the coin. You only see the illusion. You only see the token of this mirage. You only see the oasis, the fake oasis in the desert that isn't there. That when you're longing, hungering, dying of thirst, scratching and clawing in the desert for just a drop of cool, refreshing water, and your mind plays tricks on you and you see that blue, beautiful oasis of water and you can't wait to quench your thirst with it. And then when you get to it, you're drowning yourself in that beautiful, crisp, clean, blue, lovely water, only to realize you're choking on sand. You invest your life in the way of the sword. And you focus your mind, your heart, your soul, your spirit on the sword. And then when the sword cuts you down, you wonder why. You live by the sword. We all know the saying, you die by the sword. You live by the coin, you die by the coin. But you die this life. And the reason that cuts you to the bone is because you think that this is the life. And it is not. You've invested in the mirage, in the hallucination, in this contrivance. You don't see the zeros and the ones because you haven't come to Yahuwah, Yahusha, and asked for him to fill you with the breath, the Ruach, the set-apart spirit, the breath of Yahuwah that guides you on the path to the real, the kingdom to come, the everlasting life. You haven't repented. You haven't felt the pain of your mistakes and your imperfections and your fallibility and your evil and your sin and your decadence, depravity, defilement, debasement, and the ways of the flesh that you have lived your entire life. You haven't felt the pain enough, the disappointment enough, the despair enough, that you've come to realize and come to wake up to the fact that this is a hamster wheel that never ends. And you will be constantly disappointed by the coin, by the sword, by the ways of the flesh, unless you get to the brink, unless you get to that place. The same place that Saul of Tarsus came to when he was on the road to Damascus to persecute followers of the way, the truth, and the life. And Yahusha blinded him and called out, Saul, why do you persecute my people? And that was that was Saul's Damascene moment. He becomes Paul the Apostle, the most ferocious persecutor of followers of the way, turns into the most dedicated and committed advocate of the way, the truth, and the life. Because he was struck in the heart and soul by Yahusha, and he saw the real. And when you come to that moment where you realize that you can't control all the variables, all the circumstances, you can't control your environment to the degree that you can control every outcome, such that it constantly vexes you and frustrates you, such that you cannot get any true healing or joy or satisfaction or gratification from any of it. When you get to that place where you realize that you're never going to heal that hole in your heart, that chasm, that Grand Canyon-like crevice that cuts through your soul, and no matter how many drugs you do, no matter how much alcohol you drink, no matter how much pornography you watch, no matter how much revelry, celebration, or partying you do, no matter how many cheap thrills, cheap highs, cheap titillation that you partake in, it never, ever, ever heals that endless longing, hungering, and thirsting until you get to that moment and you come on your knees in all repentance for all that you've been and all that you now want to be in Yahuwah, Yahusha, and ask for his salvation. You will constantly be lost. And in that moment where you finally realize you must do so, you will be flooded with the realization, with the revelations, with the epiphanies, with the knowledge, with everything you've sought. All will be revealed and everything will be received. And you will no longer invest your heart, soul, mind, and strength in the way of the coin, such that you're disappointed in the things that the coin cannot bring you, the things that the sword cannot bring you, the things that the flesh cannot bring you. And you will realize the one true commandment that you should focus on, that you should be guided by, that you should concentrate on, that you should invest your heart, soul, mind, and strength in, is Yahuwah. To love Him, not the coin, not the sword, not the flesh, but Yahuwah with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and to love your fellow man as you love yourself, all is forgiven. All is wiped away. All is reborn. You are revised, reconstructed, refreshed, reconstituted, recreated in the image, once again, of Yahuwah, with a new heart, a new soul, a new spirit, the breath, the set-apart spirit of Yahuwah that guides you now in the way, the truth, and the life, such that you see the coin, you see the sword, and you see the flesh for what it is. That mirage that was the oasis in the desert that constantly disappointed and was gravel in your throat, not fresh, clean water. Now we drink of the water of life, such that we never thirst. We eat of the bread of life, such that we never go hungry. And we see, we see now with clear eyes the toil of this world. We see it because now we stand outside the illusion. We see the zeros and the ones, and we see everyone toiling, everyone suffering, everyone burdened by this mirage. As we once were, we see them chasing endlessly that treadmill that you can never go off, that you can never get off of. We see them chasing Caesar's coin. We see them chasing the sword. We see them chasing the ways of the flesh endlessly, cannibalizing, clawing, and scratching, and always being disappointed, always in despair, always in sorrow. Even when one door is, even when you have your moments of glory, which is only the glory of man, only when you receive the esteem of man, it evaporates instantly when you live in Yahuwah and give all glory to Yahuwah, Yahusha. You're filled with a light that is so bright that the darkness you used to stumble around in, like everyone else still is evaporated. It disappears because He is the light of this world, such that all darkness cannot comprehend it, cannot fathom it, cannot overcome it, and so it dissolves, it obliterates, it is gone. You are bathed in light. The Ruach, the breath of Yahuwah, fills you up and bursts forth from you, such that all can see the inspiration, the motivation, the encouragement, the everlasting life that blazes forth from you, such that it can act as a beacon for all those who are lost, who can now see that you, who were once like they, are saved, truly saved. They see it in you. They see the life. They see the energy. They see the healing. They see the love of Yahuwah animating you, bringing you to life as they continue to wander around this earth like zombies, chasing Caesar's coin, chasing Caesar's sword, chasing the flesh. That is yoked and bound to Caesar and his minions and the demons of this world, the haters, the detractors, the psychic vampires, the negative influencers that want nothing more than to bleed you dry for their own pleasure, because misery loves company. And we see them toiling, and we see them being the victims of these psychic vampires. And we see the demons feasting on their hearts and their souls. And we see these people. We see our friends. We see our loved ones. And we see the masses yoked, chained, bound to the evil whisperers, corrupters, and misleaders and deceivers of this world. And the best thing we can do for them is shout from the rooftops the glory of Yahuwah and live in Yahuwah Yahusha, live in Hamashiach, and live as an example for them, because when they see the Ruach, the breath of Yahuwah, bursting forth from within you, as it guides you on the straight and narrow path that you can finally see, because his light shines down on it, that light leading to the narrow gates. You could see the light so bright beaming forth through that opening in the narrow gates that is the kingdom to come, where Yahuwah Yahusha shall live amongst us once again, and all evil, sin, all war, misery, all pain, suffering, all decadence, depravity, defilement, debasement, all the demons of this world, Hashatan, Lucifer, all of them, all of it, wiped away, crushed beneath his feet, and where there is only everlasting peace, everlasting life, everlasting joy, everlasting healing, and everlasting love, and where we can honor, praise, worship, glorify, and love Yahuwah Yahusha with all of our hearts, souls, minds, and strength, in a manner that pleases him most, because we are perfect once again, as we once were in Eden before we were misled and deceived by the serpent, by the dragon, as we are led around by our nose, as we chase the coin, the sword, and the flesh of this world. And so the best thing we can do for all those we now see as we sit outside the illusion, we are in this world but not of this world, the best thing we can do is live as an example for our people. Live in Yahuwah Yahusha, live in Hamashiach, and they will see. Those that need to see will see. Those that need to hear will hear. And those that need to know, that are called to know, those that are ready to know, will finally know the way, the truth, and the life, because they see it beaming out from us. And so we walk through it. We don't admonish them. We don't talk down to them. We don't put ourselves on pedestals like the false prophets and the hypocritical Pharisees and the lying scribes. We don't hurl fire and brimstone at them. No, we live as an example. We let them see what the true life is. We let them see our healing love, our healing energy. We help our fellow man as we help ourselves. We love our fellow man as we love ourselves. And in doing so, all is revealed, all is seen, all is known, because we are called by that higher power. We live as part of that higher power. They see it, they know it, because they know we were once like them, and now we love Yahuwah Yahusha with all our hearts, souls, minds, and strength. And in just simply living that commandment, living that truth, living that way, living that life, living as an example for our people, and walking now, because we can see. They can't see it yet, but they will, because they'll see us. And those that need to see will see it. And they will know that if we can be saved, they can be saved. And they will see us. And we will take as many as we can with us. We will deliver as many as we can to Yahuwah Yahusha as we can. Because we've received so much healing, so much peace, so much joy, so much love. We've received that everlasting life, the everlasting law emblazoned on our hearts, such that all has been revealed and continues to be revealed, and all has been received that we could have ever hoped for, such that our cup runneth over, that we are compelled to pay it forward. We are compelled to share. We must, because we have so much of it, we can't keep it all for ourselves. We want to give it away. We want to pour it out. We want to shout from the rooftops. We want all to know the way, the truth, and the life of Yahuwah Yahusha. That's why I'm out here delivering this message in the wee hours of the morning, after working out, training, getting into flow state, after nourishing my heart, my soul with the words, the parables, the phrases, the teachings of Yahuwah, Yahusha. Because I must, I'm compelled to, it's my greatest obligation, my greatest joy, to deliver his message, Yahuwah, Yahusha's message of healing love, healing energy, and his living water to as many of his children and lost sheep as I possibly can, and to help as many of his children and lost sheep as I possibly can understand that they, like I, can find hope and help, guidance and direction, peace and solace, motivation and inspiration, strength and solutions, healing and love, purpose and salvation, and forgiveness and redemption through Yahuwah, Yahusha. And so now we walk this path because we can see it, and we could stay true to it and stay on it, even though it's a narrow path that leads to the narrow gates. With a light, I could see the light bursting forth through those narrow gates of the kingdom to come, but we can see the light is so strong, so bright and brilliant, the light that shines down on us, warms us, heals us, loves us, comforts us, the light of the Ruach, the breath of Yahuwah that bursts within us and forth from within, blossoms within us and heals us from within and pushes out into an infinite number of rays, such that all those who are lost can see we are a beacon. We are a beacon. We are like a lighthouse to all of those ships lost at sea that know that if we can be saved because we were once like them, that they can be saved. As we walk true and strong, because we can see that same light shining down on us, and that bursting forth from within us also shines down on that narrow path so we can see it. And the breath of Yahuwah, the Ruach, keeps us girded to that path, it guides us on that path, the straight and narrow, true and strong. As we march, ceaseless and relentless, we're unstoppable, we're unassailable, we're undefeatable, as we move like a juggernaut to kingdom come.